Centro Caribe Sports Channel. And this morning we have the distinct honor and pleasure of welcoming Mr. Steve Stoute from Barbados. Mr. Stoute is one of the Caribbean's longest serving Olympic officials. He has been in the sports business since 1964. Welcome, Steve Stoute, and thank you for accepting our invitation this morning. Tell us a bit of the history of your involvement with sport, especially Caribbean sport, and what is now Centro Caribe Sports.
Thank you very much. It is indeed a pleasure and a privilege to have been invited to talk to you today. Well, I was involved in ciclismo, cycling, and in Barbados we had no facilities. We had to ride on a grass track. So I became involved in administration at a very young age, actually, and you are correct. In 1964, I became the Secretary General of the Barbados Cycling Federation. Then in 1968, I was appointed Secretary General of the Barbados Olympic Association, and I held that post till 1996. When I took over as president, and then I resigned from the Olympic committee. I held the post until 2017. With respect to CAXO, my first Central American Games was in 1966 in Puerto Rico. And I never believed as a young guy going to Puerto Rico to compete that one day I would be president of CCS, Centro Caribesports. Back then it was the CAXO, Central American and Caribbean Sports Organization. I was elected to the board of CCS in 2006 as third vice president. And then I moved to second vice president and then first vice president. And on the unfortunate death of the then president, Hector Cardona, I became president of the CCS and presided over the 2018 Central American and Caribbean Games in Barranquilla. Also along the way, I always wanted the Caribbean Olympic fraternity to come together and work together to speak with one voice and to share limited resources. So in 1999, I convened a meeting of all of the Olympic fraternity in Barbados, and we called it the Olympic Caribbean Caucus. And then in 2003, CANO, Caribbean Association of National Olympic Committees, was formed basically by my leadership, pushing it forward. And it was not easy because it was very difficult to get all of the Caribbean countries to speak with one voice. The Anglos wanted only an Anglo organization, but I insisted that if it was going to be Caribbean, there would have to be all of the Caribbean. And then within CAXO, I was very upset at a number of the territories, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Turks and Caicos, etc., Curacao, had been excluded from the Olympic movement. My rhetoric was the Olympic movement should be one of inclusion, not exclusion. So we worked very hard to have all of these countries included, and I am so proud today to see these countries competing here in Santa Marta at the inaugural Beach and Sea Games. So it has been a long road. In 2018, I lost the election for presidency of CCS my good friend Luis Mejia, and I think it was a good thing because with the coming of COVID, it has been a very stressful period for sport, and I believe that, I have served my time in a senior position. Right now, I still sit on a number of commissions within the Barbados Olympic fraternity, and I continue to work to advance regional and national sport. I'm somewhat disenchanted with some of the happenings within the Olympic movement, and I'm hoping that these issues will be resolved as we move on in history.
I am sure that you're very proud today as a honorary life member of CANOC, as one of those who saw the birth and growth of Centro Caribe sports, that today you must be very proud of the Central American and Caribbean, how far we have reached in sports today.
Yes, indeed. It makes me feel that the work I have done over many years has not been in vain. The concept of a beach and sea games was conceived during my tenure as president of CCS, and so I am delighted to see that it has become a reality here in Santa Marta. And yes, it fills me with pride that when I see the advances that we have made within the regional sports network, and I think that we will only go from strength to strength on the international scene.
Thank you so much, Mr. Steve Stoute. You have been with our baby Centro Caribe Sport. You have taken it from CACSO to Centro Caribe Sport. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for sharing this morning with us. Stay with us, and remember, continue to follow Centro Caribe Sports channel on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. We are all on all the social media platforms.
Thank you very much. It has been indeed an honor to be here, and I wish these games and, of course, CCS all the very best in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Me mueve la sangre, llegó el guerrero en tierra de gigantes. Me cuelgo la medalla, soy un campeón. Brindo por mi patria, por mi nación. Esto sale del cora porque me siento vivo. Si estás activo, canta conmigo. 1, 2, 3. Estamos activos, estamos activos.